everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing this standard size long hip underbust corset made by Electra Designs. This is the size 22T from her new standard size chart, so it's a little different from her old standard size chart. The exact measurements of this corset are subjective to change in the near future as she's developing her new line, but it will probably be around this general silhouette. Right now I'm wearing it with a 2-inch gap because that's the way that it's supposed to be properly worn according to her website. So just know that this corset is not completely closed in the back. So without further ado, let's get on with the review. So here is the front. Excuse my unruly hair today. The side, the back, and the other side. The center front of this corset is 11 inches high, and from the underbust to the lap at the shortest area here along the princess seam, it is 9 inches high. When I measure the circumferential measurements, not taking into account the 2-inch gap in the back, I measure about 29 inches in the underbust, 22 inches in the waist, and about 33 inches at this lower hip here. So you can see that it is a long line corset. My iliac crest is there, and it comes down about another 2 inches on the sides here. I think this gives a really beautiful silhouette. I would call this a modern hourglass shape. It has enough room in the hips here, it's nice rounded hips, and a slightly rounded rib cage here as well. So I feel that it sort of nips in the waist a little bit more right underneath the rib cage, similar to the cincher that I had reviewed last week. I like the profile that this corset gives me. As some of you guys know, I have a pretty naturally flat abdomen, and when some corsets sort of redistribute my flesh, it can make me look thicker from the profile than I am originally. This one I feel is a little bit more true to my profile. It may be attributed to all the bones in the front here that I'll show you later on, and it might also be attributed to the lacing bones in the back here because they really hug the lumbar curve of my spine right there. It's very comfortable. I do notice that it wants to bow out a little bit because they are quite flexible, so there is that little caveat where it is probably just very slightly larger in the waist than it is at the very top of the corset here. So lacing up a corset like this that does have the flexible lacing bones in the back instead of the usual grommets that are sandwiched between two bones, it is a tiny bit different trying to lace it up because it is quite a bit more flexible, but once you get the hang of it, it's not that difficult. So here's a corset laying flat, and for the materials of this corset, it is a fashion fabric of this gorgeous royal blue satin that is fused to a soft interlining, and then on the lining here you can see that it has black herringbone couture. Turning the corset to the side here, and you can see that it's not even going to lay flat because it's so curvy. This corset is made with a 6-panel pattern, so it has 12 panels total. So on one side you can see 1, 2, 3 for the front, and 4, 5, 6 for the back. And for the assembly of this corset, I can see that it is stitched multiple times on the seams here. It looks like it has a top stitch. If you read the Electra Designs website, it says that these seams are quadruple stitched, so they're extremely sturdy. Some of the bones are on the seams, some of the bones are in the center of the panels here. There is a 1-inch wide waist tape in this corset, invisibly stitched, so it's sandwiched between the layers here. You might be able to see the outline of it right there running through the width of the corset. And here's a close-up of the binding, made from matching bias strips of the same blue satin. It's machine stitched on the outside and also on the inside, but it's very neat and very clean on both sides. This corset sample did not come with a Modesty panel on the back, although you can purchase a Modesty panel as an extra for a markup on the website. This sample does come with a Modesty placket in the front here, unstiffened, finished in the same blue satin. The standard corset has a 10-inch long standard flexible busk, so it's ½ inch on each side, a little bit flexible, but it has some supporting bones on either side of the busk here. This busk has 5 pins, and the 2 lower pins are a little bit closer together to help support the tummy a bit better. This corset has 26 bones total, 13 on each side, not including the busk here. So like I just mentioned, there are some flat steel bones beside the busk here, 1, 2, and there is also a flat steel bone in the back, as well as the lacing bone in the very back there that has the holes drilled right into it so you can put the eyelets through. On the sides here, there are 1/4 inch wide spiral steel bones, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that combined with the 2 here and 2 there give you the 13 on each side. Here's a close-up of the eyelets in the back of the corset. They are two-part, size 00, I believe, and they have a small flange around them finished in silver. There are 20 of them, 10 on each side. As I had mentioned in my previous review, Electra Designs calls these eyelets instead of grommets, despite the fact that they are still two parts. They do have a washer underneath, because for her description of eyelets, they have a smaller flange around them and a longer shank, which allows it to actually fit through the lacing bone here, as the bone makes it quite a bit thicker for it to go through. She said that a grommet has a shorter shank and it would not be able to properly roll over on the underside of this corset here. So as you can see, that these are perfectly equidistantly spaced, and the fact that they are put into a bone makes it pretty much impossible for them to rip out. Here's the back, so you can see the nice wide washers here. All of them are set very nicely. All of them seem to have rolled beautifully. I don't see or feel any catching in them. It makes the laces glide quite well. The laces themselves are a little bit more than half an inch wide. They are in a similar royal blue satin, almost perfectly matching actually. It's double-faced, so it's very strong, has zero stretch to it. The standard size underbust corset by Electra Designs that has this gently rounded top and bottom edge in the center front here. It starts at about $400 US. And this concludes my review of the new standard size long hip underbust corset by Electra Designs. I hope you enjoyed this review and you learned something new. If you did, please remember to click that like button and help support the channel. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd be happy to get back to you or forward your questions to Alexis. And I will see you all next week for another video. Bye.